Hi, and welcome to TV My Husband Hates. I'm Kat Sims.
And I'm Reagan Kempton.
And we are reality TV addicts.
Addicts, aficionados.
Ooh, I like that. Experts.
Experts.
Basically, we know our shit when it comes to reality TV.
100%.
Hey, everybody, and welcome to another week of TV My Husband Hates. I am here with Reagan, and I say here, I'm in London, Reagan's in Denver, but we are supposed to be recording this episode currently in Key West. How are you feeling about that, Reagan, right now?
It's been a rough week, not gonna lie. I feel like I've lost a lot of my pre-week's quarantine mojo, and I've just been tired and probably a little grumpy that I'm not drinking by the beach alone with just my friends.
I know, it's been a bitter pill to swallow this week, and actually I've had to stop myself thinking about it.
Yeah, I really have not tried to dwell on it and just move on.
But I think it's somehow like seeped into my soul, because a bit like you, I've just had the lag and the drag, and I don't want to do anything, and I'm pissed off at having to homeschool them more so than usual, and you know, I wake up and by 11 I want a cocktail. So I think that my mind is there, but my body is not. Yeah,
I hear you.
Anyway, we are dressed. We've got like holiday vibe clothes on.
Yeah, I've got some tropical loungewear.
Nice. I'm wearing a swimsuit. But it is warm here, so it's not completely crazy. And we're ready to do another big podcast. We've got 8 episodes again this week. But I think we're about to lose family karma. Is that right?
We are. Yeah, we've only got the season finale is airing tomorrow, Sunday. So we'll just have one more weeks of chat with that, which I'm really sad about because I love this show. Like, I love everything about it. I love the dynamics between the adults and the kids and the families and the community. And I'm sad to see it go, but I'm pretty optimistic that they will bring it back because I think it's been a cracker.
It's been amazing. I've really enjoyed it too. So I hope they do bring it back. We'll be sad to see it go. Although I won't be sad to be doing 7 episodes rather than 8. 8 is quite a lot for us to get through.
8 is a lot. And again, I'm gonna blame Real Housewives of Atlanta for that because we finally got the finale this week. It's episode 22.
It's
just been long, man.
Done by now.
Yeah, so, that's our planning. Also, if you guys haven't heard the news, Real Housewives of Potomac is being pushed back to the summer because I think they've obviously had issues filming during Corona. So I think they've pushed that one back just to ensure programming throughout the summer. So we won't be starting that as soon, which I guess is a little bit of a relief. But this season looks amazing. So I'm a little sad that it's not starting tomorrow.
Me too. I'm a bit sad because that's one of my favorites. I think that's a bit of an underdog in the franchise, but I really love it.
It was actually one of the shows that we started the podcast at the very end of. So like it's kind of marking our coming around, which is.
It's true. It's the first returner.
It is. Yeah.
Oh, no. Kardashians was
but Kardashians have like short multi-year seasons, so I'm not counting them.
Yeah, screw the Kardashians. Other than that, I think that we should probably get on with it since we've got a big roster this week.
Yes.
Let's kick off with the most boring show that Bravo's ever aired this season of Real Housewives of Atlanta. I'm balls deep in this. I'm not sugarcoating it anymore. I cannot watch this any longer.
I feel like this season could have used with much more heavy-handed editing. We didn't need 22 episodes of this show. We just 100%. Didn't. Like, the content is not really there. And a question to everybody out there, does Sally Beauty have a contract with the Bravo universe? Because it opens up with us seeing Kenya promoting her hair there, where Reza is also selling his hair care products. So I feel like there's a little connection there.
I have no doubt there's money involved. So anyway, they're all selling their shit at Sally's.
Yeah.
I actually can't really remember much about this episode because I deleted it from my brain. But I think let's start with Cynthia. Quick chat about her and the predicament that she finds herself in. Do you think she's going to move to LA?
I think 100% she's going to move to LA. I mean, her daughter's there and loving it and thriving there. Her fiance is there. They've set a wedding date, which is going to be 10/10/20, or at least it was. I don't know how
Oh, yeah.
coronavirus will affect that wedding date. But yeah, I think there's 100% chance she's moving to LA. Why wouldn't she?
I know, right? I'm not sure about the baby talk. There's been on a few
Oh.
episodes some chat about Cynthia. I mean,
Yeah.
too far be it from me to say that any woman can't fulfill her dreams, but I just feel, why would you? You've got a
Why?
new, hunky young husband. Your kids are grown.
I mean,
Why?
coming from two women who have young children at home, like, you are on the other side. You
Yeah.
can't go back.
No.
You don't
go
remember what
back.
it's like.
Cynthia, babe, call me. I will tell you why. I'll give you 50 damn good reasons. 52 damn good reasons why you shouldn't go back to having a baby.
And we can write them down so you can give yourself affirmations of these reasons every single day. But,
100%.
babe, just enjoy being on the other side. Please, for
Have
all of
sex.
us.
Have sex. Sleep through the night. Save your money. Go on holiday
Drink
when
whenever you
you like.
want.
Drink when you like. Just don't do it.
Yeah.
Other big news, Kenya's getting salty. We're going to skip over this because, frankly, I give about as much of a shit.
Yeah.
I just don't. Kenya called Nene a bully.
Which is so ridiculous because it was to TMZ, like on the tiny step and repeat of her hair reveal at the Sally Beauty Supply. It's just like, you know, TMZ is going to run with this bullshit and make it a huge deal. Like, you know that.
Yeah.
Why? Why even stir that pot anymore?
Look at me. That's all she wants. That's all she wants.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what, she's just a vapid, gross human being at this point, and genuinely I wouldn't care if I never clapped eyes on her again.
Yeah, I mean, at least until the next season of the show. But do you think Nene is a bully to her? Because I kind of feel like she threw this first rock. Like,
I feel like with those two, you can't just. I think they're both as bad as each other, and I don't think, like, I think bullying is about the person who's on the receiving end. I don't think the bully gets to say, well, that wasn't bullying. Like, it's the person who receives it that's bullying. I don't think for a second that Kenya gives a shit about what Nene's saying. So, no, I think Nene's being fucking shady and gross.
I think they both
Kenya's
are.
being shady and gross. But I don't think either of them are bullied because I don't think either of them give a shit about anybody else.
No, exactly.
No, I think it's bullshit. And is that it? Is this the last one?
Yes, this is the season finale of Atlanta.
So we finished then. I guess the big event that was finished with some big event was
the
weirdest baby shower ever.
Yeah, I mean, to give Candy and Todd credit, you know, it obviously is more about the adults because, you know, Candy is not pregnant, and I have no idea like how you navigate that. But I feel like we saw Kim Kardashian have more of a baby shower with her surrogate. Like, it's a lovely tea, people bring baby gifts, like they just kind of celebrate the baby. I don't really know what this was celebrating. Like, I feel like the message was lost.
I do too, and I felt really uncomfortable for the surrogate as well, who I felt was just sort of wheeled out. Kind of, and I do get that Candy was trying to make her feel involved, but I just think the pomp and show of the whole event undermined the reason for being there.
Yeah, and I can't remember. Did Kim have her surrogate at the baby shower? I feel like she didn't.
I don't think she did. No, she didn't.
Yeah, and I kind of think that's a better way to handle it. I mean, I don't think Candy had any like ill will or any like weird intentions bringing out their surrogate, but it was just odd. And like, she doesn't know anyone there. Like, that's boring to just sit on a couch while you're pregnant and not be able to drink and just be there.
And then put a microphone in front of her face and say what she wants to say. It's like, oh God, the girl's pregnant. She just wants to go
Leave her alone.
Just let her go and eat burgers in bed.
Yeah.
But of course, the show was also slightly tainted because Todd fucked up.
Yeah.
He really did fuck up.
I mean, I think Mama Joyce started the shit, which she always does. But I think Todd could have just walked over to her at OLG, said hello, and gone back to his seat. Like, I feel there are some social niceties that you just do.
Well,
and that's
when it's
what
your
you
mother-in-law, like, your only option is play nice or cause a huge family rift. Like,
Yeah.
that's it. And I know Mama Joyce is difficult. I know she's said some awful things, but Eva calls it right. Like, you've got to respect the mama. Like, and
Yeah.
it isn't nice, but all he needed to do was get up, say, hi, Mama Joyce. I hope you're well. I'm really busy. I've got some shit to get back to, but I just wanted to come over and say hi.
Absolutely.
Because it is a slight. You know, I'd feel slighted if I was in the same room
Yeah.
with my son-in-law and he didn't come over and say hi.
Absolutely. And I think Candy's right when she calls him out on it. It's just like, you can't apologize. Like, you have an issue with apologizing. Like, all you needed to say was just like, I'm sorry, or, you know what, I did do wrong by that. And I mean, I think he kind of redeems himself by doing the public apology later, but part of me is like, you could have just avoided all this shit. And maybe I'm just a natural avoider of drama, to where sometimes you just suck it up, say hi, move on, and be fine.
Yeah, I'd have said hi. I mean, I'm with Todd. I don't find apologies easy. I get
Yeah.
it. But this wasn't just a random apology. This meant that her mum wasn't here for the baby shower.
Right.
And as much as he sucked it up and said sorry at the end, I feel like he should have done it 4 hours earlier and said sorry to Mama Joyce, because
sent a car for her
and sorted all that shit
Yeah,
out.
yeah,
And he fucked up, and I think he redeemed himself a bit, but she'll never be at that baby shower, which actually, on reflection now, having seen the baby shower, probably not the worst thing. But
yeah, I wonder what she would have thought about the whole thing.
Well, I think she would have liked it, because I get the feeling Mama Joyce quite likes the fact
The
that
glitz.
the glitz and the glam.
Yeah.
Notable things to talk about. I love that Eva leaked her milk. That just was lovely and real. I love that she didn't fucking freak out. She's like, oh man, that's what
It happened.
Absolutely.
It does happen. I love that she was having a drink. I love how real about, like, having a young baby she is. I love it.
I mean, she's 3 in, so she's obviously earned her chops, but she's just super chill, and she's always been one of my favorites. I agree.
Love her. It'll be nice to see her next season, maybe not pregnant, and see if we see a different side of Eva, not like if she's not as chill, because really we've only seen her pregnant on the show.
Yeah, that's true.
So it'd be interesting to see, like, the show without her being pregnant.
Yeah, I mean, I'm going to struggle to get any enthusiasm to watch anymore
Atlanta,
but we'll see. I'll give it
time.
We'll see.
You have time.
So let's move on to Family Karma, as we said at the beginning. This is the penultimate episode. We've got one left before the end of season 1. I, for one, really hope it comes back.
Me too. I love this show. Like I said earlier, just the the personalities, the community, like, just everything. It pushes all my reality TV heart buttons.
Me too. I really loved it. And I think we kicked off this week with discussion about Amrit and marriage, whether he was going to marry, is it Alexander? Hang on,
It's Nicholas.
Nicholas. That would have been weird if I'd have remembered his name, because that's my superpower.
That's very off-brand.
It's very off-brand. Amrit and Nicholas, his dad's like, yes, we'd love to see it. Your granny will obviously have a bit of a shit fit, but we'll figure that out later.
Yeah.
And Amrit sort of talks about how he's not quite ready to commit, and does what I think is the ultimate faux pas in this situation.
I think if you're over the age of 16, you should never give anybody a promise anything. I mean, I don't even get it when you're 16. Like, what the fuck do you know about your life at 16 to, like, promise yourself to anything? Like, I don't jive with the whole concept of a promise ring or a promise cuff as we've seen here. Like, fucking be engaged or not. Like, don't
like
dick around.
And Katie all over again in Vanderpump Rules, when you gave her the ring on the necklace and all she wants. If all they want is an engagement ring, anything other than that is just going to be worse.
Yeah,
like,
don't do it.
Don't think they look at it and go, oh, you're halfway there. That's great. They don't say that. They don't think about it like that.
What is it? Like the participation trophy. That's what I feel like they are. They're participation trophies. Like, if you want to buy someone a piece of jewelry, just buy them a piece of jewelry. Like, don't attach any meaning to it. Don't say, like, this cuff represents that I'm almost ready to marry you. Like, fuck off.
Or that I'm not quite ready. Right. That's essentially what it's saying.
I may never be ready. Yeah. Take your cuff.
It's such bad form. It's never going to go down well. So it's better to just leave it, just wait until you are ready and then do the proper thing. Don't half-ass it with some shit piece of jewelry.
No. Because then you'll also be like Vishal and Richa now having to like throw an engagement party 7 years after you've actually already been engaged. Like,
Oh,
why did
I mean,
you do it from the get-go?
let's talk about Vishal and Richard while we're here, because I mean, this man is so infuriating to me. And I love Richard. I think Richard and I are on the same page when it
Yeah.
comes to Vishal, frankly. She's like, can you just grow some balls and make a decision and tell
Yeah.
her what the fuck is happening?
Well, because she knows her mom, right? Like she knows
Yeah.
that would go a million steps ahead of wherever they've been, is if he would just man up and do his thing.
Because she makes an interesting point that I hadn't really considered when I thought about Loopy Loper, which is this whole idea, like she just wants to feel like you can look after me. And I totally understand why Loper,
Opa.
sorry, that's a Freudian slip, doesn't have the confidence
Yeah.
in Vishal to like stand up, manage it, fucking sort that shit out. I get it. Look, I'm going to put it out there. If Billy came home with Vishal, I'd be like, no.
No. Yeah.
This guy is a more. I am with Loper on this.
Lopa, you have a convert. Like, but I think you're absolutely right. Once we heard kind of Richa's breakdown of where Lopa's issues stand, they're fucking valid issues.
They are.
I mean, not the stuff with like his mom and all that. Like, we'll get to that in a minute. But I do think like there is legitimate concern about whether or not he can take care of her daughter. And, you know, if I had girls, I'd be the exact same way.
This guy's in his 30s. He lives with his mum. I know that that's a cultural thing, but there's
Right.
lots of Indian guys that also don't live with their mum.
Oh, yeah.
The only job he's ever had is one that his mum gave him.
Right.
And he's just this wet.
He's just goofy.
But not goofy implies like cute and adorable. It's like.
Oh, see, I don't think that. I don't think goofy implies that. I feel like goofy's just like a caricature.
Yeah, he's just a bit icky.
Yeah, he's not my fave.
No, me neither. But we'll see how this party goes. I mean, he'll pull it off, but
we'll see.
Talking of Loopy Loper, maybe. Talking of Loopy Loper, we also see her sit down with Rishma.
Yeah, Vishal's mom. And this is kind of the issue I have with Lopa. I feel like this all stems because Lopa feels that she was ignored at Rishma's other son's wedding. Now, those of you who have been involved in a wedding, like my mom was running around like crazy during my wedding, just trying to make sure I was good, make sure everybody was good. Like she didn't have time to really care about anybody else's feelings other than mine. And I feel like that's probably what Rishma was doing, like just making sure her son's wedding was going okay. And I think that's okay.
I do too, but it's also, do you know, here's the thing, it's also okay for Lopa to feel like she was ignored. But here's how you deal with it. After the wedding,
right,
you call up Rishma and you say, listen, I know that you were super busy with the wedding. It was such a shame that we didn't really get a chance to chat or connect. I'd love to invite you to lunch.
Ding, ding, ding. Not 5 years after the fact.
Don't fucking drag this shit out and go
5 years.
Glenn Close shit crazy on it.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm glad they sat down. I do feel like they've come to an understanding. I don't know how long it will last because I don't know how Lopa is, but I'm glad that they have finally had that chat.
I feel like they have come together. I mean, like for the sake of the kids, like let's just be okay.
Yeah.
I think ultimately, you know, that's what's important, and I feel like they did both agree on that, but we'll see how that goes.
And they need to. I think Rishma's right, and I think Lopa agrees. They just need to put their shit aside for the sake of the kids that neither of them really want to get married to.
Yeah, and it's fun. I mean, I guess culturally speaking, maybe it's not fine, but like I find it fine that my mother and my mother-in-law aren't like the closest people on the planet. Like they don't live in the same state. They have their own lives. Like it's all fine.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, yeah, it's the same here, but maybe there is a cultural thing where that's not fine.
Right.
I mean,
I don't know.
Feeling, but...
Let us know. Update us.
The other drama, of course, is that Amrit hosts his big like company launch party in Miami for the new location and invites all his friends. Always a terrible idea, by the way.
Yes,
TV stars.
I 100% wrote that down.
event.
Not a good idea.
Don't just invite all your mates who are paid to fight on TV. Like, it's always a terrible idea. But fight they do, and we have Barley, Anisha, and Monica in this conversation.
Yeah.
That doesn't go so well.
No, I mean, I don't think anybody came out of that conversation with any better understanding of where anybody was coming from, nor did they really want to.
No.
I mean, I am going to give Monica credit. I like that she was pretty straightforward in this conversation rather than just trying to like make it nice and kind of brush it under the rug. And I agree with her. Like, she's just like, I just don't really like you.
Yeah. I mean, she's not a people pleaser. I think we got the impression that she was kind of a people pleaser. I think we're learning that's not the case. I think she is ballsier than she initially came across. I think Anisha starts this conversation really well, but then very quickly gets enormously defensive, and it all gets a bit uncomfortable. And then I don't like the way that I think Barley should have known better. I feel that once again you had Barley and Anisha ganging up on Monica.
Right.
Monica can hold her own.
Yeah.
But it just felt like Barley should have perhaps moderated both sides rather than jump in with Anisha and lay into Monica. I was surprised at Barley for that.
I was too, because I thought actually Barley and Monica were having a really great productive chat just one-on-one. And I think that's how these things have to be resolved. Like, I think we saw it go wrong when it was Amrit and Vishal against Barley. And now we see it go wrong when it's Barley and Anisha against Monica. Like, ultimately, these things are never going to be okay until you guys just have a one-on-one chat. And it can just be one person talking to the other and not at a work networking party that someone shouldn't have invited you to in the first place.
I agree. And of course, in the background, there's Brian trying to chat up, I forget her name.
Ritka.
Trying to chat up Ritka, and his game is shameful.
You know what? It was going really well until he tried to feed her like a toddler. Like, I have no idea where that...
Oh, God.
My kids aren't even down with that, and they're 7 and 4. Like, it's already old then.
It could have paid off. Like, somebody could have found it really adorable, but she didn't. She really didn't, and neither did we. And it was all a moment where, like, our pelvic floors just clenched a bit, and we all shuddered a bit with.
Well, and he knew that too. Like, the minute he did it, he was like, "Why the fuck did I do that?" And I think that's what I like about Brian. Yeah. Because I think in his heart of hearts, he does want to just be like good and meet a good girl and kind of like move on with his life out of his partying days. But I don't know. I think there's something really likable about him trying something that just fucking fails.
I know. Bless him. God loves a trier.
Yeah. His mom, I bet, laughed her ass off at that when she watched it.
Oh, I bet she did. But she thought that was hilarious. Well, we've got one more episode left next week, so I'm excited to see how they tie it up, and I really hope that it does come back, because I think it's been a great addition to the franchise. Yeah,
I agree. I love that it gives us something different to talk about. I love that it's kind of an insight into a different community. I love it. Do you think it will be the engagement party next week?
Yeah, I think that's how they.
All right.
Let's see how that goes.
We'll see how it goes. I can't wait. It comes on tomorrow night here in the U.S., so I'll watch it on Monday.
Now we have what I've started calling BDSY, which sounds like some sort of weird bondage sex game.
If it is, let us know, because we're obviously out of touch with that community.
And it's still better than Below Deck Sailing Yacht, which is hands down the worst name for a TV show ever.
If we haven't mentioned it a bajillion times before. Or 12 times, to be exact, before.
I don't know what you're talking about, Reagan. We never talk about the same thing over and over and over and over again. Big news this week is, of course, that Parker walks.
Yes, and he doesn't quit. He resigns.
Oh, God.
It's like, it's Parker, like, you might as well have just told the camera you retired. Like, it's so ridiculous. Like, I've retired from my yachting career. Oh.
He's really, really not a smart guy. Like, he's not clever.
So I want to bring up, we got a really great DM on Instagram from Maddie Merck, and she had this to say. She said, "Listen to this week's episode, and just FYI, you guys were on the money on Parker. He is from a part of Maryland where people are raised with this sense of entitlement. It's a boating town where someone may know someone in politics. There are weird pockets of our state that are just entitled, and some, like my hubby, are down to earth and simple. Seriously, I think it's because Marylanders don't know if they are Southern or Northern. LOL.
I love that, and she's right, and I think this episode hammered that home more than anything. This guy is a trust fund baby. He can afford to walk away because he doesn't need to earn money for the summer to kind of fund the winter or whatever it is, which is what a lot of seasonaires do.
Right.
He knows he can just walk because he can, there's no consequences. He doesn't like the game that's being played in the sandbox, so he just decides to leave.
Well, and doesn't like any criticism, because actually they were not being near as harsh with him as we've seen in past episodes of like the Below Deck franchise. Parker, things could have been a shitload worse. Like you kind of had it easy. They just want you to watch the way you're reacting to people. And I kind of felt like him resigning had a lot to do with the fact that Katie was going to come into town and he didn't want to work. He wanted to spend time. And so this was just a way that he could quit before he got fired and not have to work on himself. Like, it's just easier to
the easy route
be
out.
engaged.
He just wanted to holiday. He didn't want to work. He wanted to holiday.
No.
And it was just, I was glad to see him go, frankly, at that point. He's like a massive overgrown baby.
Yeah. Well, I think that's what Jenna was continuously implying with the breastfeeding thing.
Talking of Jenna.
Yeah.
We have a dinner where they all go out, and I think Jenna and Byron and Adam, these kind of old hands at this kind of setting, I think they're a little obnoxious when it comes to the crew, and I think Adam really hammers that home when he deals with Madison in the way he deals with her after him and Jenna spend the night in the master.
Yeah, I think Adam makes issues where there actually aren't issues. Like, all he had to do was pull Madison aside and be like, hey, Jenna said we could sleep in there. We slept in there. If you have an issue with it, you need to talk to her, talk to me. Like, please don't talk about my business at the crew mess or something to that nature. But he decides that he's just going to get fired up and scream at her.
Yeah. And make her feel shit right in front of the new guy who's just rocked up. To start all this shit. Adam is also another overgrown toddler when it comes to his emotions. Like, he's so... I don't know who hurt him, but I feel like he's been so hurt that he doesn't let anybody in. And
not even like a tiny iota, like even in enough just to have a normal conversation with someone who's done something that rubs you the wrong way.
Yeah, he just the way he treated Madison was not okay.
No.
And I felt for her in that, but I'm going to come back to it. I don't think that the Jenna-Adam partnership is making for good vibes on the boat. Like, I think that as much as they really like each other and are happy together, I think together they actually come off pretty badly. I think they bring out the worst in each other to a certain way.
Well, I think they also allow each other to be the worst, right?
Yeah.
Like, because you can commiserate on maybe how gross other people are being. It's almost like, like a prison mentality. Like, well, it's us against them. Like, but we've got each other's back, so we can talk loads of shit to each other about everybody else. And I don't think it's conducive to like the group mentality or like the group work. I mean, just like I don't think Paget and Ciara's relationship, like I just don't think relationships are good for this kind of close working environment. I think it just kind of brings out the worst in everybody, and I think that's what's happening. But like we've said before, like these are kind of the only people on the planet who do these shows that get to see their behavior. I mean, I'd be on like a massive apology tour if cameras followed me around all the time and all the shit that I talk about people, because I talk a lot of shit. I will also say it to your face that is the redeeming quality of me. But I think I say it's redeeming.
But I think you're right. They have like such a rare opportunity to look back on their behavior from the outside looking in, because we've all been there. You think like, and I can feel how Jen is feeling like, but I was with Adam and the girl, and I can get it. But once you're out and you look back on it and you get to see it all over again, you see everybody's reaction. Nobody really gets that chance. Yeah. And it does mean that it does allow for a whole new level of self-reflection that none of us get to do. And I've been reading Jenna's Instagram, and I know that she's come under fire for the way that she's treated people and the decisions that she's made. And like, while that's hard to take when you're out there, like it's fucking shit being criticized, She still put herself out there, and this is kind of the shit that you have to deal with.
Absolutely.
But I do hope that she, I know she's saying she is self-reflecting, but I hope that changes it, because that's got to be the key thing. Like, I hope that if she goes onto a boat again with Adam or whatever, is okay with not taking her eye off the ball of what her actual job is, and which is to train people and to make the boat work brilliantly. But yeah, God, I think that's why I want to be in a reality TV show, because then I feel like I could do that looking back thing.
It's like a therapy Zoom, right? Like it pushes you like 5 years down the road in therapy. If you can just like watch how you behave and be like, holy shit, I do that thing that other person said I do. I never actually saw it before. Fuck, I need to change that. And yeah.
I think it would be great. Anyway, I'm not in a reality TV show. I'm an influencer, would be a better word for it, and there isn't a better word for it today. But this boat is also full of influencers.
It is. And I actually, I expected them to be really shit. Like, no joke. I mean, I love you, and, not all influencers are assholes, but I think I kind of
most of us are.
I kind of expected these ones to be. I mean, who hire a private yacht and just want to do a bunch of photo shoots and whatnot. But actually don't think they're that bad. However, they seem to have quite a crush on Adam, which seems to be rubbing everybody the wrong way.
Well, Jenna's hilarious. And this is another reason why I just feel that this relationship isn't quite in the healthiest place, because she's so mad that they're like crushing on her boyfriend. And frankly, if I turned up on that boat and didn't know Adam, I'd fucking crush on him too.
Yeah. It's not like he wears a sign that says like, I am property of so-and-so, this girl on the boat. Like,
but don't be that insecure. Don't cock block them when they want to go and speak to him in the galley. Just be like, sure, he's in the galley. Like,
I mean, don't you just say yes to everything for the tips on these boats? Like, of course you can see the chef. Like,
yes, exactly.
Would you like him to do a dance? I can arrange that.
You would like me to fan you with palm fronds while you yes, anything it takes. You want to see the chef? Easy, in you go.
Yeah.
No, I 100% agree. I think she's very insecure about it. But I was on board. I think when I heard it was a boat full of influencers, I was like, oh God, this is going to be awful. But actually, they were really sweet, and I'm not entirely sure about the primary charter guest relationship. I'm not sure how that's going to pan out, because apparently he proposes next week.
Oh, we'll see. That's not where I was thinking it was going.
No, apparently that's what he tries to do next week. So I think that's going to be TV's
that could be awkward
moment. Yeah. But the other great thing is that once Parker walks, we get in Chris, who's from the land of my people.
He is. We have British Chris. Chris Miller is his name. We've tagged him in, I think, some stories. But this deckhand has experience, which I think is a whole ball game.
I wonder if he's got more experience than anybody else on this boat.
He seems
maybe
to.
Captain Glenn.
Yeah, he seems to. Or Byron. I think Byron's got a lot of experience as well.
Too, yeah.
Great
at
a different job.
He shits on Paget and Sierra, honestly.
I think we're going to see some tension there, because we already have Sierra, like, talking him through every step of his job, and she knows he has experience.
Oh,
but, like,
so
she
awkward.
didn't. So here's my question. She did not do that with Parker, and he was super green.
Yeah,
like,
weird.
Why did you tell Parker what to do?
You know what it is, though? I think it's because they're like an established group, and this new guys come in, and I think Sierra just wants to kind of, she's like
establish her
kind of
dominance.
boating equivalent of peeing on him a bit.
Yeah.
Like, she's marking her territory.
Yeah.
This is, he's like, oh, the donkey dick. She's like, we don't call it the donkey dick in front of
like, yes, you do. That's the only way I've heard about it.
Oh, fuck off.
Yeah.
Stop being a dick. I like him. I think he's going to bring a kind of, I don't think, because he's British, he's not going to play into any of this kind of dramatic bullshit.
He's
I think
serve
he's going to be a bit bamboozled by it.
Yeah.
Like, what the fuck?
Get on with your job.
Get on with your fucking job.
Yeah.
I don't know how good the television's going to be, but I already like him, and anybody who's fucking good at their job and just gets up and works, is all right with me.
I think he's kind of the perfect substitute for Parker. Like, I think he's going to neutralize a lot of bullshit And I think that'll be nice to see. But maybe something else will come because he does know his shit. And I don't think he's going to let that go for the entire rest of the season.
Well, I think Paget's ego better watch out because he's already broken the naughty boys in front of him. I mean,
it was almost like he was trying to impress him. Like, you know, like when you were dating and there was like a cute guy and you're like really trying to like do everything right. And then you like fucking fall out of your shoes and do something ridiculous. That's what I feel what happened. That's what happened with Paget. He was like, oh, fuck.
But I do think Paget's going to struggle with this guy. But we'll see. Who knows? Maybe it'll all be smooth sailing.
Yeah, I like what you did there.
Vanderpump. Let's move on to our fourth show on the roster.
Oh, yes. Sheena Shea. You need to learn boundaries, my friend. Because it's very different getting a psychic for a best friend who may have lost a parent, but you don't do it with somebody that you've just maybe finally made the fuck up with because you've been starting a lot of shit in their lives.
No, and you also don't like dump them in their lap on the spot.
Or just like give your address away to people. Like she obviously gave the psychic the address. Like I don't want people just throwing my street address everywhere.
But where was the pre-game chat? Like where was the whole Dana? Like I know that we're just getting to know each other, but I don't know if this is something you'd be into. But this girl is great. She's done would you be up for it? Not like so I did it and she's here.
Right. Like that's so uncomfortable. I think Dana handled it 100% how any normal person would handle it.
I agree.
I think if Sheena had enough time to call a whole bunch of other people and run this idea by them, she could have called Dana and had this conversation on the phone. And then honestly, maybe Dana would have been more open to it. Like, you know what? That'd be great. Let's meet at this place. Like, I don't just want random strangers coming to my apartment.
Or can I bring my best friend with me rather than the girl that I only knew for like a hot minute and we fought for 39 seconds of that? Do you know what I mean? Just it's not the kind of thing. Dead parents is not the kind of thing you fuck around with.
No, you never fuck around with
that. You make sure you get that shit right. You make sure that anything to do with that you get right. And you're right. Shayna's boundaries are just all out of whack. Like she meets a guy, she's marrying him.
Yeah,
you know,
or no.
With a guy, they're dating.
We're best friends, but actually I'm madly in love with them.
Yeah, I mean, it's all, bless her, she's all kinds of screwed up in this. And I get it, like she's had, the whole thing with Shay would have been difficult for anybody
totally
to deal with. But to ignore that there is an issue is crazy. She does need to figure this shit out.
Yeah, 100%.
The other thing is we see sober James still hanging on to his sobriety, which is great. Him and Lala seem to mend some fences. Do you think that this is it? Like, do you think this is it for James?
I really hope it is, because I actually like this James. This James is funny, and I can get on board with him. The other James is just a fucking hot mess. I like that he's kind of reaching out to Lala and bonding over, like, their shared nightmares of getting drunk. And, I mean, I've heard this from people that, like, just stopping drinking without kind of the support of AA or any kind of plan is incredibly difficult. And I think maybe that's why it hasn't worked for him in the past. So I'm glad to see like AA really helping him and like figuring out why he's doing this. And I hope he takes deeper looks at that. Because I'm on board. I'm on board for sober James Kennedy. Like, I think he'd be a kick-ass I just think everything in his life would be okay and really chill if he wasn't an alcoholic.
I agree. The one thing I do wonder, though, is I don't know how long him and Raquel will last now that he's sober. And I say that because I genuinely don't see... He's whip smart. Like, he needs somebody like Lala. Not Lala, because he's obviously very happy with somebody else. But he's whip smart, super funny, very creative. And I just don't know if sober James is going to be fully fulfilled by Raquel, who's super sweet. Yeah. But, you know.
She's not, like, smart on the fly. Like, she could be very book smart. Like, I think that's what they pointed out. Like,
she's not quick or clever.
She's not. No.
Banter.
No. And knowing the Brits as I do, banter goes a long way.
I don't know what you're talking about. So we'll see how James and Raquel. But I'm glad to see him sober. Talking of That's the worst segue I was ever going to do. I'm not even going to do it. It was so
Okay.
bad. We also see a lot more. Well, I say a lot more. We get more development between the kind of witches of WeHo. They have their launch event for the wine, which Stacy has already checked out of completely.
Right. Doesn't want to do it. He's done.
But there's this weird triad going on between Stacy and Beau and Kristen.
Yes. So, like, the backstory is that Kristen and Beau have actually been friends for ages, and Kristen is the one that set Beau and Stassi up. Now that Stassi has fallen out with Kristen got upset. Didn't she get upset at, like, the wedding where Beau was like, you know, Stassi's my life, she's my number one. She's what I put first. And Kristen got really upset about that, which then, again, fueled that feud between Stassi and Kristen. And Stassi doesn't want them to be friends anymore, which, like, I get that feeling, and she's totally within her right to have those feelings, but I also feel like you can't really dictate who people, like, it's not a good idea to try to dictate who your partner's friends are.
Well, it gives the other side ammunition to call you controlling and all of that, and that doesn't work. So I think, you know, if Beau was smart, he would sit Stassi down and say, listen, this is really shit, and I'm 100% Team Stassi. But it's not going to do anybody any favors if I just cut Kristen out. So look, I'm just going to dial it back down. I'm going to do bare minimum, whatever's necessary to keep her happy. But no, I'm always in your corner. More trouble for you, but no, I'm always in your corner.
I will always stick up for you. And I get where Stassi's coming from, because Kristen slept with Jax when Stassi was dating him. So, like, there is a precedent for her to be pretty fucking triggered by this friendship, and I think
that's where this comes from. Honestly, I think Stassi's crazy behavior at the launch with regards to this, like, she just sees red. That's where that comes from.
It's her.
You know, Kristen shagged her boyfriend twice, and Stassi forgave her in a way that to this day still baffles me. Not that you shouldn't forgive people, but it happened I felt like it happened quite quickly. Like, it was just felt a bit easy. But of course, this is going to trigger her boyfriend now hanging out with Kristen.
Well, and I almost wonder, like, does Beau not know that? Because I feel like Beau's actions may be a little different if she'd been like, look, this relationship is really triggering for me because of this. I don't know. Did we see that?
I don't know if they've had that conversation outright. I mean, he knows about the whole Jax and Kristen situation, but I don't know if they've kind of had the conversation to tie it all together. But either way, I can see it from both sides. I still think Kristen is behaving badly. Like, you know, she's just being awful to Beau about Stassi when Kristen should know better. Like, Kristen should know why Stassi is going to.
She should be like, you know what? Like, we can be high friends. I totally understand why Stassi's uncomfortable with our friendship because I fucked her boyfriend twice.
I mean, fair enough.
I mean, it was Jax, so whatever. But still, like, I don't know. It's a tricky situation. I definitely see where both sides are coming from. All Beau wants to do is, like, surprise her with this amazing engagement. I feel so bad for him. He's put so much time and effort. He's just like, fuck, can we just get till tomorrow?
I know. He's like, the amount of times he could have just gone, fuck it, here's a fucking ring, just thrown at her. For fuck's sake, here's your fucking engagement.
Thrown it in her face.
Like, the patience and the fortitude he has shown in the face of the Stassi storm has been commendable.
I mean, this man is made for her. Like,
made for her.
No one else on the planet could handle.
It was a little, it could have been a bit quicker when she's like, but am I your person?
Yeah. You should just say yes. Yes, of course you are.
He just stood there a little bit dumb. I was like, say yes. Say yes.
Say yes, Beau. Yeah. I was screaming at the TV or my laptop with my headphones on, watching it while kids are doing something else. But
yes, of course you are my person. Of course.
Yes.
Tend up. But she gets pissed, and I get it, and she leaves. And I think this is not just her behaving badly. There's a lot of triggering shit going on.
Yeah.
But next week is the proposal.
Finally.
I can't wait for this because I genuinely feel like this is I mean, the only couple married are Tom and Schwartz, and they've done it twice, and both times I still am not 100% sure if they're the right people for each other.
Schwartz and Katie, not Tom and Schwartz.
I mean, Schwartz and Katie. That's a Freudian slip.
Yes, Sandoval Schwartz wedding would be pretty epic.
But to see a proposal between Stassi and Beau, where the two people you know are meant to be together, is just going to be so lovely.
Yeah, and I mean, obviously, a lot of us have already seen pictures of it, and like we know that they're engaged, but I can't wait to see the actual play out and like how she reacts, and it just being so her because they're mausoleum shopping, and like it's a
So until next week, but let's move on to Real Housewives of Beverly Hills.
Which
we struggled with a little bit this week.
Yeah, I felt like this was the first episode was fire and like had all these bombs and great things to, pull you guys about. You did not get a pull about Beverly Hills this week on Instagram because I found it really tricky to like, what would I pull you about? So, whose house do you like better? Garcelle's or PK? And I don't know. Like, I just.
Well, it's not PK's house, apparently. Just Dorit's house. Because apparently nothing's going on. Everything's fine. Everything's fine. Just fine. Fine.
I found it really interesting because I feel like this is the first time on like one of the Real Housewife franchises that we really got to hear some prodding from the producer.
Yeah.
And it obviously rustled Dorit's feathers a bit, and she got a little defensive and asked him if his wife's name was on their house. I'm going to tell you right now, both me and my husband's names are on our house.
Me too.
That's typically how it's done.
And it's not like I'm not against like if she has more money or earns more money or isn't bankrupt and therefore can buy a house, and that's why her name's on the house.
Yeah.
Of course, fine.
But you can say that. Like with his legal troubles, I had to put it in my name. Done.
But it would be weird. But honestly, I don't know. Maybe I'm being very non-traditional about this, a bit new agey. But I think if you're married and you're both earning and you buy a house together, I think it's weird if both your names are not on the house.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, Elijah bought our first house because I had really shitty credit and I was just out of uni when we got married. But then he added my name to the house. Like once we got married.
All factors equal, if you're buying a house together, I would have thought that you put both names on.
There's some sort of legal reason why his name is not on the house, and we all know it, and it's fine.
Just own your shit and move on. I don't know why everybody's so bothered about this whole perception of shit. Just tell the truth. It's always the better way.
Yeah, because it's gonna come out regardless. Someone will find out something. If you're those people, not if you're.
Well, that kind of shit's all public knowledge anyway. Like you can request that shit.
Yeah.
What I did love, apart from all the fucking new houses, I'm really enjoying actually seeing more of Erica, seeing a different side of Erica. And I think her lunch with her and Garcelle marked the beginning of a really lovely friendship.
Well, they're very similar. Like they both have older kids, and then Garcelle has younger kids. They've lived life. They love fashion. They've got very similar personalities. I love them. I think Garcelle is a great new addition to a needed addition to the housewife.
I agree.
Because I think Erica needs like a partner in crime that can like stand up to her kind of wit and banter and just life experiences.
Yeah, and I really love seeing more of Erica and Tom's marriage because I don't care how old they are. I think that this marriage is a really, really good one. And I think
they've been married for 20 years.
For 20 years.
Like people need to get over the fact that he's older than her. They've been married for fucking 20 years. Like it's fine.
I mean, it's done and it's fine. And I think that there is no ideal of how a relationship marriage dynamic should work. And I think when she's like, I think I loved her honesty about the sex. She's like, it's okay. Like
that's what it is after 20 years of having sex with one person.
Yeah, that's what it is. Whether you're 83 or 43, nobody's ripping each other's pants off and throwing you over the kitchen table when you're 43 and 20 years of marriage down.
No.
Like that I just really appreciated her, and I really love that we're seeing more of her. Like, we're seeing her and Tom in their kitchen. We've never seen that. We've never had that kind of intimacy with her. You know, we see the bedrooms, the houses, everything of the other housewives, but not with her. So I like that she's opening herself up more in this season.
I like her and Tom. I mean, I think they have partnership goals because I truly believe they are partners in life. And I think that's awesome. Like, I don't think money dictates the power in their relationship. I do think they have a pretty traditional marriage.
Yeah.
I think he's talked about that before. Like, you know, when he has business dinners or whatnot, like, I'm Mrs. Girardi. I'm not Erica Jane. Like, I have different roles for who I play in life, which everybody does. But I do truly think, like, he's supportive of her dreams and what she wants to do. And, you know, we see her get this role in New York, and he's going to go out there when he can. And I think that's awesome. Like,
I think that's what a marriage is. It's a partnership. And I think Hollywood sold us this whole, it has to be this massive, hugely romantic, sex-driven, romance-driven movie. And actually, at the end of the day, it's a fucking partnership. You are a team, and you've chosen each other to get through life together. And sex and romance is just one small part of that. The rest of it is a bigger picture thing. And I think that's what I love about this marriage. I think they truly love each other, and that's not about sex. That's just about the fact that they make a fucking great team
and respect. And, you know, I bet they're kicking ass at being quarantined together.
Yeah, I bet they are. They're having a great time.
Not bitter at all.
Let's move on. Let's move on to Teddy and her event.
Teddy is so awkward.
I really want to like her. I know.
I do too, and I just don't. Sorry. This is what happens when we talk over each other. Go ahead.
I do. I really want to like her, but I just can't because I just want her to have a little bit more confidence. And there's such an irony in her, like, accountability status, but her not having the confidence to just stand up and go, like, she's so defensive in this instance. And Dorit's like, I'm coming to support you. Well, then don't bother coming at all. I'm like, what?
That's what you want them there for.
When your friend invites you to an event that they've organized for one of their things, that's why you go. I mean, 90% of the time, it's an event that you're really going to enjoy and you love to do. But sometimes it isn't. Sometimes they make you walk up a fucking hill for charity. But you do it because you turn up for them. And Teddy looks at that as if it's a bad thing, when actually it's a really, really good thing.
I mean, I would be more offended. I'm more offended that Teddy thinks they all need to, like, go through her program to be okay, because that's what she's saying, right? Like, only come if you're going to really participate and get something out of it. It's like, you're being a fucking asshole. Like, let them come support you. They can put it all over their Instagram. You'll get all the good business shit out of that, because that's why you're asking them to come. Don't be a dick and, like, imply that they all need to work on their personal growth and you're the person to do that with them.
Yeah, that's fine. We all know what this is. This is a you scratch my back, I'll scratch your thing. You know, you turn up to my event, on Instagram, I'll turn up to yours and do the same.
And it's fine.
That's great. And then in between, we'll go off and do shit that isn't on Instagram that we just really enjoy. That's the name of the game, Teddy.
Yeah.
Like, let's not get overly sensitive about this. Let's just see this for what it is. And I think that's what she's struggling with. She can't separate this kind of, you can be friends, but also work, like, scratch each other's backs professionally.
Yeah, I question, like, her role in this franchise. Like, do we need Teddy?
I'm with you, and I think she's had 2 or 3 seasons now.
Yeah, I think this is the 3rd season.
Yeah, I just feel like she's not getting it.
No, I mean, I feel like Denise kind of slid right in there. I feel like Garcelle has, literally. I feel like Garcelle has, like, she has a place. Like, that show needed her, and I think that's really cool so far. I've never felt that way about Teddy. Like, I think she's nice.
Yeah.
I think she's super awkward. I think she's super normal, but maybe not really cut out for this franchise.
I think you might be right, and I think it's probably not doing anybody any good, and I think Teddy's going to really struggle. I think we're going to see a very different Teddy this season. I think she's going to crumble a little bit.
Yeah, I agree.
But let's move on to Keeping Up with the Kardashians, where Khloe is harvesting those eggs. She gets a good little harvest there. She gets, 14 eggs?
She does. I think, what did he say? She had like, they're looking for 10 to 16 follicles, and she had like 15, and I don't know the specifics. She had some really mature ones, others matured later. But she's really hung up on the eggs versus embryos at the beginning of the episode, and like kind of resolves it by the end. But I think the decision, like, okay, so her big thing is freezing embryos gives you like the best chance of being able to unfreeze and have ready to go kind of babies to implant. I understand the science behind that. But having Tristan be the donor, I feel is tricky for the place that they're at. I understand wanting True to have biological siblings. I think that's a very valid point.
Yeah.
But I think it's too soon.
Well, and also, here's my point. If she ends up, by the time she wants another baby, and if she ends up she might want to do that with Tristan, in which case she can just do it with Tristan the old-fashioned way. Mm-hmm. Like, if she's, do you know what I mean? I feel like if she's with somebody else, she's not going to want to do it with Tristan. So don't hitch your eggs to Tristan's sperm donkey.
That's terrible.
Came out not quite.
That's all right.
As I thought it was going to be.
Yeah.
I just feel like it's too much of a decision right now. Like, if you want to have Tristan's baby, have Tristan's baby. Like, if you want to have a sibling with Tristan, otherwise have a sibling with a man that you really, really love, or have it with an anonymous sperm donor. Like, those are my options.
Well, they'll still be biological sisters because they have the same mom. Like that, like that part of the DNA is the same.
And whether the eggs are good now when you put them into embryos, or whether they're good, like, the eggs are the eggs.
Right.
You know, like. And I think she gets there in the end. I don't think she needs to commit to Tristan on this level right now.
No.
But I guess you just have to go through the process. But I'm glad that she came out with it. I'm glad that she kind of came out the other side. I thought it was really interesting to see kind of the different birthdays as well that we got in this episode too.
Yes. Oh my gosh, the birthday party for Chris
was amazing.
Renting their childhood home, hiring old school cars, having someone hand draw the old wall, like the old 80s wallpaper from your kitchen.
Can you imagine? Like, that is so crazy.
Kim's friend totally calls it, like, you're so fucking lucky you're this rich. You're this rich that you can spend like this money on this birthday party. And Chris obviously loved it. And I kind of respect the fact that they didn't film it because they didn't want, like,
I mean, I respect it, but I was annoyed.
I wish I'd seen it.
To see it.
Yeah. Part of me's like, well, couldn't you just do it like on the inside and like not show the outside of the house or like not the address? Like, you already, because they already showed pictures of the outside of the house. Like, somebody clever could hop on Google Earth and find that fucking house. But anyway,
I do think it's a great. Like, I know they've got a lot of money to do that stuff, but it still takes a lot of thought and it still takes a lot of planning. And I think that I just have always really loved the family dynamic and the commitment. And I think moving on to the other party, to Corey's birthday, I think what I love about that is that they're really starting to embrace him as part of that family, because I think he's proving himself by looking after Chris and doing lots of things for the kids, and that he is part of that family. So I really loved that they did this trip for Corey, not just for Corey, but also to make their mum feel like, okay, we accept him.
We take him seriously. Yeah. I mean, they've definitely put him through the ringer. And I think taking him to Napa was brilliant because, like, that's where Chris is, like, the happiest and the drunkest. I think every Napa trip we've ever seen with them has been fucking gold. I mean, maybe that's where we reschedule our trip to.
No, I want to go to Florida.
I mean, there are better beaches than Florida. Let's see where we all end up after quarantine.
Oh, that's true. Yeah.
But anyways, I just loved it. I love that Chris was super happy about it. I think Corey was really touched by the girls throwing him kind of a surprise thing. And I think it's really nice because we saw all the siblings kind of rally, right? Like, we even see Rob show up to a family event, and Kylie threw him a dinner that night. And I think they all have kind of come to this realization that, like, he's a good dude and he's taking care of their mom. So, you know, he's all right.
Kim as well is on her legal journey. She's on the case for Rodney Reed in this instance. And I think it's really interesting to see Kim because I think a lot of people are quick to kind of dismiss her. And, you know, yes, when I look at her Instagram post, I do think, God, you really don't sell yourself brilliantly. Like, you do come across as pretty vacuous. But then when I see her on this, I'm like, if only people watch the show, because they'd realize that she's super smart, really dedicated. And I think that this commitment to becoming a lawyer by 2022 is really something to be admired. And I think she's not fucking around with it. Like, she's actually doing this stuff.
No, she's actually doing this shit. And I really like how she's bringing attention to, especially like the American justice system. I mean, Texas still has the death penalty. It's not the case for every state. We all do something a little bit different. Texas definitely still has the death penalty. And I like that we're really starting to try to challenge those death row cases, because a lot of them were decided when things looked very different for us as a society. And I think some of those cases are worth looking into and really looking at the evidence and really trying to make sure, like, if you're going to use the death penalty, you need to be fucking sure. There should be no question on evidence or anything like that. And I just think I'm glad somebody's using a platform to kind of promote, we really need to make sure that this is all, we know what happened.
Because she's saying that there's some sort of belt that wasn't tested. And the thing is, it doesn't actually matter whether he's guilty or not at this point. I mean, obviously it matters whether he's guilty or not. But in terms of the death penalty, what's important is that if there is a piece of evidence that hasn't been tested, every piece of evidence needs to be tested if you're going to put somebody to death.
I mean, especially as science has evolved, because I mean, some of these death row cases were found 30 years ago. I mean, DNA has come so far. Like, we know so much more shit. Like, you need to use modern stuff to just double check your shit.
Well, and let's not beat around the bush.
Yeah.
You know, death row inmates are disproportionately African American, and like you say, a lot of them have been in there for 30 years, and so their cases were sent to a jury in a very different time with a very different social landscape, and I think more than ever we need to be, if we're going to put somebody to death,
need to be vigilant.
Just let's check that shit, right?
Yeah.
I think essentially, let's just double check this shit.
Yeah. With what we know now and what we know about the evolution of the justice system, it's definitely not perfect.
And all of that. Yeah, 100%.
It's a bunch wrong. So I'm glad to see you doing that.
Yeah, me too. And then we head over to the Hamptons for Real Housewives of New York City, where there is apparently the party to end all parties. But frankly, anytime me and my girlfriends go away,
that's just a get together. That's just a weekend.
And I'm serious. Vibrators in the chicken, standard. Naked swimming pools, standard. Throwing shit, standard. I mean, we clean our shit up, but we do go a bit crazy.
I think that's a standard weekend for many, many people who go away with a bunch of girlfriends. Like, that's what you do. I think Ramona freaked out a lot about not that much. I love that Leah was the only one kind of up and cleaning this shit too. Like, where was Sonia and Tinsley? I would have woken their asses up and been like, right, bitches.
Me too.
It's time to clean.
But Leah's not entitled. Leah has no sense of entitlement. Like, all right, she knows that maybe she could have treated the house with a little bit more respect, but she's first up and ready to clean that shit up. And, you know, I get it. Ramona wasn't there, and she comes back and the house is like kind of a shithole. If it was my house, I'd probably be a bit pissed too, but that's because I'm the one that everybody goes to bed and I just open another bottle of wine and spend the next 3 hours cleaning by myself. And I go to bed at 5 a.m. because that's just how I roll. But at the same time, there's no sort of permanent damage done. Leah does the right thing. Yeah. Sonia and Tinsley are just a little entitled about it. They're just assuming that somebody else is tidying up.
Well, and I think why Ramona rubs me the wrong way in this is she's being kind of a dick to Leah, like about the silverware, and like she's treating her differently than she treats the other women. And I think it's bullshit. And it'll be interesting to see how their relationship plays on. But like, I wanted Leah to be like, or I wanted Ramona to be like, you know, it's cool. Like, whatever. It did piss me off. Thank you so much for like cleaning it up. I appreciate you getting up and kind of taking care of business.
I feel like she kind of does to a certain
Really?
extent. She's like, Leah did get up and clean, and so I couldn't
Yeah.
be that mad with her. But also, I think Leah and Ramona are actually going to be great friends. I think Leah's going to kill her with kindness. She's not going to react to any of her bullshit. She's just going to diffuse her. And I do think actually those two are going to be
Interesting.
they're going to.
I
think
see
they're
it
going to bond.
I see it going a different way. I see Leah continually
Let's
drinking and it kind of exploding.
Well,
We'll
let's
see
how it plays out.
We'll see how it goes. Saying this, sorry, I'm part of quite a few like reality TV groups on Facebook just to kind of test see what people are talking about. And this has been a very divisive episode. A lot of people feel like the girls were totally wrong for drinking and skinny dipping and whatever, and that they're very much Team Ramona, which I find very weird. I don't know. You guys let us know. Like, what side do you reside on? Like, are we reading this wrong? Are we the only ones that have had weekends like this?
I mean, I hope not. Well, I mean,
I don't know.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe we are.
Let us know.
The other thing that we have to endure is Luann's flirting, which is really just so painful.
I would have rather seen her turn on the flirt with the Italian tennis pro than the dog groomer.
He slammed her down.
There you go. That's true.
When she was like, maybe today, he's like, yeah, no, not today.
No. I've got another tennis lesson.
But then the dog groomer, that was...
Yeah, he was not hot.
You know they banged. You know.
Oh, yeah. They 100% did. He's not hot,
That's why she left that... No, he wasn't hot.
No.
He looked like... He looked a little bit like Donald Trump, but if you took his face off and stretched it over a plate. Do you know what I mean? He had this sort of big, wide, round, flat
like a moon face.
So I feel if you took Donald Trump's face off and stretched it over a plate, that's how he would look.
That's awful.
Yeah.
One more thing before we move on is Sonia and this. I feel like Sonia is trapped in her past. She's trapped in like the socialite life that she had a really long time ago. Yeah. Because she hasn't been married to him the entire time of the Real Housewives of New York, which has been a long time, like over 10 years. So like, I don't understand this huge like white knuckle grip on the socialite life that she did once have.
I think that's it. Leah calls it that yacht has sailed.
Yeah.
She just wants that life back, but doesn't want to admit that she wants that life back. But she's like, I didn't marry the banker. I married the bank. And you're like, dude, just let it go. And I think this is a lot about why she wouldn't leave the townhouse. Like you had to drag her out of that townhouse kicking and screaming because that was a legacy of the Morgan family. And I just feel like Leah sees it straight off the bat. We all see it. She's just so married to this legacy that, you know, Dorinda's right. Her kids are Morgans, but Sonia's no longer a Morgan. Like,
move on.
To move on. And maybe she would actually find and have a really meaningful relationship if she could let it go.
Yeah, I 100% agree. She's also like the worst at like tidying and like being a normal person in a house.
She's never had to
I mean, the townhouse was like a hoarder's nest. Her apartment looks like a hoarder lives there. It's just crazy.
Remember she used to have these weird like interns that just I felt like just lived in a house. It was a bit weird. Like she just pulled them up from the basement every now and again.
Yeah.
It felt a bit odd.
Like if I was one of those kids' parents, I would have a real hard time with you telling me that was your internship. I'd be like, no. You're going someplace else.
Get out now.
Yeah, that scares me. I don't think you're safe, especially if you're a dude. You're not safe.
Camp. That's what you're going to Christian camp. Instead. But yeah, I'm loving Leah. I think she's really injecting new life into this season. So I am excited to see it play out.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see how Leah and Ramona go.
And then finally, last but not least, the Shahs. And again, still remaining one of my favorite franchises in our lineup. I'm just loving this season. It kicks off with big drama and it's not failing. They're still in Hawaii, and of course, we find that MJ and Paulina have a little bit of a tete-a-tete, which of course pushes all of Mike's crazy buttons.
Right.
What was your take on this, Reagan? Like, how did you feel?
I think at first, because I feel like I know MJ because we've watched, I think is this season 8? I've known her for, we'll just say for 8 seasons. So like I've seen the sweet side, I've seen the mean side, like I see these ups and downs. So I feel like I know her. So I feel like when she first had this conversation with Paulina, I didn't think it was that big of a deal. Like all these Persian dudes know they're controlling, like we all know this. Like they talk about it all the time. It's fine. But I forgot that Paulina has only met MJ this season. So all she knows is crazy drama with Reza and people shouting about abortions and restraining orders and massive fights. So I think at first I was confused about Paulina's kind of reaction to like calling Mike and being like really upset. Then I took a step back and thought about it from her point of view and was like, oh, yeah, that probably wasn't the best thing to say. What about you?
I was with you. I feel like it was slightly...
Oh, no.
Yeah, I was with you. I feel like it was slightly tactless on MJ's part, but I also just feel like she doesn't have that relationship with Paulina, and you don't want to sit there and go, I think your husband's a bit controlling, unless it's your really, like, very, very best friend.
Right.
But also, I kind of had a problem with Paulina just running off to tell Mike. I was like, why don't you just pull MJ aside and say, listen,
that wasn't cool.
I feel a little offended by that. And then MJ could sort it out, and they don't have to get Mike.
Yeah.
But I feel like all Paulina did was actually reinforce MJ's point. And then Mike comes swooping in.
Yeah,
to, like,
reinforcing the same point.
So, yeah, I mean, I'm with you. I don't think it was that offensive. I do feel that MJ came off a little smug. I married a white guy, and we just do everything 50-50.
Yeah.
I mean,
that's what I say.
Yeah, which is probably
what she means.
Yeah, that's what she means. So I do get it, but I do think Paulina could have handled it a little bit better. I do think Mike is just a bit brutish sometimes. I do think he's controlling. I think it was incredibly awkward way back when we saw that reunion with Jessica and he wouldn't let her speak.
Right.
Like, that is weird. But I think they handle it, and I think Mike doesn't hold a grudge. Like, I think he'll get over it.
But I think Destiny makes a point. Like, you guys are controlling. Like, we all know that.
Yeah, they all talk about how old school they are and how marriages are old school. Like, she's not saying anything crazy.
No.
It just came off a little smug, I think, for me. I think that's what I would have been the most offended by.
Yeah. I would agree with that.
Let's stick with MJ and talk about the Reza thing, because obviously there's still, for me, on social media, they still hate each other. So every episode, I'm waiting for the spanner to be thrown into the works. But it wasn't this episode. They still seem to be working towards a really positive place.
Yeah, I mean, I think we see little bits and pieces. I feel like in this episode, we see Reza maybe doubt the sincerity. Like, is she just making up with me so I'll drop the charges on Tommy? I feel like that's kind of how he feels. I mean, we also get a sense, like, Adam, like, we got a clip of, like, the next episode where Adam is, like, 100% not on board with dropping charges. So I think Reza is stuck between Adam and MJ, and I think that's going to be a problem in the future. But I feel exactly the same way you do. Like, every episode, I'm waiting for some other bomb to drop that decimates their friendship. And I hate feeling that way because I just want to, like, go with it and enjoy where they're at right now. But obviously we know something's going to happen. Or maybe that's just it. Maybe they can't come together because of husband.
Yeah. I mean, Adam's already made it really clear he doesn't, no matter what happens with Reza and MJ, he doesn't want anything to do with her, which I just think is childish. Like, you have to just let shit play out. You don't know how things are going to go.
And he was the one that did wrong in the very first place. Like, all this kicked off because you were shady.
He needs to show some humility. And I also think he's kind of a drama queen. We do see previews for the next scenes where he's like, I'm not comfortable releasing the... it's like, dude, come on. Like, this is not worth Tommy getting a felony over.
No.
Like, that's just not...
It's not on.
Not cool.
No.
And I hate to say it, but if it turns out that MJ and Reza aren't friends because Adam's being a fucking little bitch, then I'm gonna be pissed at Adam.
Yeah, and I think that's rightly so. And maybe a little angry at Reza.
Yeah, but I mean, I know.
Yeah.
It's an incredibly difficult situation.
100%.
Right? Like,
yeah.
Your
No, I
marriage,
get that.
like,
yeah.
But yeah, I think Adam shouldn't be putting him in this position because Adam's put Reza in some fucking difficult positions recently, and frankly, if he can avoid putting him in another, then he should.
Right. Like, just let him be friends with her. You were the one that did wrong shit in the beginning. She didn't set you up to do wrong shit. It's not like you texted her inappropriate things and she somehow cloned her phone and made it go to this guy. Like, you sent really shady shit out there.
You gave us some good material to work with. Like, let's all own our parts in this.
Right,
Adam
and move on.
played a part, and he
be
needs
a
to
fucking grown up. Be a grown up about it. Own your shit and move on.
Last but not least, let's just have a quick chat about Gigi and Nima and the kiss and whether they. I mean,
they are gonna fuck at some point.
But I love Nima for not fucking her when she's
I do
drunk.
too.
And she just doesn't get it. She's like, you should have fucked me. He's like, I'm not gonna fuck you when you're wasted. I'm not gonna do it.
And you know what? I think this is like a life lesson for every young man out there. Like, it doesn't matter. Sometimes it's just not a good idea to sleep with someone who's too wasted to really know what's gonna go on. Like, you just don't do that. You just don't. You let her be pissed at you and have sex with you at a later date.
But I also love that Gigi doesn't see the chivalry in that. She doesn't see the decency in that. She's like, oh, why didn't you fuck? She's like, I'm just annoyed you didn't screw me. Like, babe, like, come on. You're like setting feminism back 75 steps.
I know.
Like, come on, dude. Just go, oh, that's a new concept. That's great. I love being respected like
me
that.
To like be clear-headed and give you proper consent.
Thanks for showing me the respect that I deserve as a human with boobs and a vagina. It baffles me.
Yeah.
They're definitely going to shag.
Yeah, totally.
And I do love Nima, like, sly smile at the end where he's like, Gigi once told me she's never not got a guy. I'm kind of glad to be the guy.
Yeah. I like that too. I have a big place in my heart for Nima, actually.
Me too.
I liked the way we didn't talk about this, but I really liked the way he kind of opened up to the group about how he's not cool with people being rude about Erica because of how much she really helped him and how much he struggles with like female relationships because of the relationship with his mom. And like, I like him a lot. I think he's
a really good guy.
He is a good guy. And I think he recognizes his shortcomings. And I think that's refreshing.
Yeah, he's really evolved. Like, in a group full of very kind of really sweet, kind, but slightly old school, emotionally not that evolved guys, he really stands out as somebody that, I mean, I'm starting to get a little bit of a crush on him.
Yeah, I could see that. I mean, not with the fake neck tattoos, but without the fake neck tattoos.
Do you know what? I mean, I don't want the fake neck tattoos, but I think Nima with some tattoos would be really fun.
Yeah. I'm not a fan of neck tattoos. Like, I've never seen anyone really done well. I like tattoos, but I don't like pink flamingos on the neck. That's what I mean.
Probably not. Yeah,
no.
Agreed.
All right.
That wraps us up. Do we have any housekeeping to take care of?
No, keep sending the reviews. We got some new ones. I obviously don't have them queued up to name check at the moment, but we got a new one this week about our Tiger King episode. That was fabulous. Thank you so much if that was you.
I really appreciate that. Any reviews you make really help us.
Yeah, and send us your suggestions because I think we're going to do some more mini-sodes on popular shows. So if you're watching something you think we'll like, send it to us. We'll try to give it a look-see, if you will.
A look-see. We're currently watching Too Hot to Handle, so there will be one on that coming up shortly. But in the meantime, we hope that you guys are having a great time. We hope that you are still surviving lockdown wherever you are. And as ever, we'll be back next week. But until then, remember, smart people watch reality TV too.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Please subscribe, rate, and review TV My Husband Hates wherever you listen to your podcast. You can also follow us on Facebook and Instagram at TV My Husband Hates and join the Facebook group to keep the conversation going when the podcast ends. If Twitter's your thing, you'll find us at TV Husbands Hate. Theme music and production for TV My Husband Hates is by Jimmy Sims.